Hey, what's going on, guys? Xuen here. So today we're going to be taking a look at the 8.1 Azerite trait that is going to be introduced for Windwalkers in patch 8.1. The reason why I'm going over this trait is because, number one, there is a build for this trait that is, well, I mean, this trait in general is pretty broken. And it's mainly because I want to get Blizzard to kind of notice that it's broken and hopefully fix it and tweak it. That way we don't have another Swift Roadhouse incident where it just gets flat out nerfed by 50%, because if it does, it's gonna make us pretty trash in arenas again. So I'd rather get it tweaked so where it's balanced, hopefully, and kind of take it for that as it is. But before we get started, keep in mind that I am streaming right now at twitch.tv/Xuen, so there's no written script or anything right now. So I'll do the best I can to stay on target, stay focused, and kind of go through this as quickly as possible, because it shouldn't take too long. It's just one trait that I want to go over. So let's jump right into this. So the trait is Xuen. Your combo strikes grant a stacking 3% chance for your next Fury to grant 563 haste and invoke Xuen the White Tiger for 8 seconds, which is the same thing as your invoke. So it's your talent. You get that for 5 seconds, and it does hit moderately hard. You also have to keep in mind, though, that Invoke Xuen does break CC. So if you're running something that has instant break like a mage, kind of a warlock, hunter, even though hunter or windwalker doesn't really work anymore, you have to keep in mind that the invoke does have an aura that can't be toggled off. I believe it has a 10-yard range, and sometimes it's very hard to manage that. So what I would suggest is having pet attack macros. But I'll go into that a little bit later in this video if I remember, because it's something that is very important if you decide to run this build. So let's, talk about this. So once again, your combo strikes, which means that you follow your mastery, your combo strikes. So make sure every time you hit an ability that is not your previous ability, you get a stack. 3% chance for your next Fury to grant 563 haste and invoke Xuen. You can double stack this. You cannot triple stack this. As it stands right now on the PTR, every single class can only get 2 of their new traits, not 3. And personally, I kind of agree with this, because there are some traits like this one that would be absolutely brokenly insane first day of release and would get nerfed to the ground. So I like that they're starting off with 2. Maybe they'll add 3 in later future. But let's kind of go through a regular rotation and show you what it looks like. You can't see the percentage right now. My guess is that you'd probably want to make a weak auras for this. I'm not good at, coding weak auras, so do not expect that in the description of this video. But it stacks. So right now it's like 6 times 10, so it's 60. So I have a 60% chance, if I pop Fist of Fury, that it'll summon and invoke. Okay, so it didn't summon it. And it didn't, oh, it kept my stacks. I thought it didn't keep my stacks. So it didn't summon it, but it kept my stacks. So maybe I want to go a little bit more. I could just spam Blackout Kick because I really want this, Fist of Fury to go off. And there we go. So if I have a pet attack macro, you see this? That's what pet attack macros do. Before we go into greater detail about what's broken about this talent or this Azerite trait, I want to talk a little bit about pet attack macros, if you guys don't mind, because I personally find this incredibly important if you decide to run this trait. Pet attack macros is a wonderful thing that you need if you play any class that has a pet. The reason being is that the AI has a delay in its coding from recognizing when you attack this target and when you switch. So there will always be a slight delay if you do not use pet attack macros when switching targets, because the AI is a little bit slower. Between 1.5 and 2 seconds it takes to switch targets. If you have pet attack macros, which means you're macroing things like, let's say your Blackout Kick with slash pet attack, then under it slash cast Blackout Kick, you're telling the AI to attack that target immediately. And you don't even have to be in melee range to do this. You can set up pet attack macros just as a /pet attack. You could do this with pet follow macros as well. If you're playing like a hunter or warlock where they like to kill your pets, it's very important to have pet follow macros. Again, I will be making a hunter guide talking about those macros here in the next few days. I highly suggest you check it out, even if you're not a hunter player. So let's use this as an example really quick, because again, I still think that this is very important. I want to go to a second action bar and put a few of my regular abilities on the action bar, and then show you the difference for yourself if you want to compare it. So let's put Blackout Kick here. Let's put, I don't think I can use Fist of Fury. Let's put Rising Sun Kick, wherever it is. Here we go. And Tiger Bomb. So we're going to summon Invoke on this target. And let's attack this target with the Invoke. Okay, I'm going to switch the target. And you see how... Did you see how long that took? So now I'm going to use pet attack macros. I can actually confuse my pet. He's like, what do you want me to do? So it's instant reaction. And it really is important, especially in PvP, to have pet attack macros, because it is an instant response rather than a delay. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of people that have pets do not make those macros, and I'm telling you, they're very, very important. So do that if you want to get the full value in PvP out of that trait. Let's go into why this trait is broken next. A viewer of mine, Trevi, he was testing this build a lot earlier than I did. He has like about 2 weeks on Windwalker on the PTR versus my, I think 3-4 days. And he found out that Stronger Than Fire, each clone contributes to the stack effect, which it has to be a bug. There's just no way that that's right, because you stack it very fast. And if you're going through an actual rotation with your Storm Within Fire clones and you have the right build with the right haste or energy regain, you can keep up Invoke for as long as you have Storm Within Fire clones out. So I'm just gonna not do a full rotation, but I'm going to summon my clones out, and I will show you how fastly you can build these stacks. Remember, keep your eye at the top right of your screen to see my stacks and how fast they build. So we're at 9, 12, 18, 24, 33. Summoning my clones again. And again, it only goes past 33, but... And you can even start working on your next... Like, while this is out, you can start working on your next Invoke. So you can even start working on your next Invoke. So then, if you have your, Fist of Fury up, you can just instantly get it again. It's pretty busted, and I wasn't doing my rotation properly because I was paying attention to the top right of my screen rather than my energy and chi bar. But you kind of get the point. I think it's a bug. If it's intentional, I think that it should be at least, slowed down a bit. Because that's very, very strong. I mean, maybe it's intentional. I really, really don't know. But if you take into account the talent Turbo Fist for PvP, to where Fist of Fury now deals full damage to all targets hit and reduces all targets' movement speed by 9%, and you also parry all attacks while channeling, it's gonna do a lot of damage. Especially if you take traits like if you get a triple leg sweep, you take a trait like, what's that one that increases your Fist of Fury crit? I forget. There's one that increases your it increases your critical strike if you hit more than 3 targets with your Fist of Fury. And I forget which one it is. And I know I had one of those, but I don't anymore for some reason. Oh, here it is. Iron Fist. Fist of Fury grants you 803 critical strike for 10 seconds when it hits at least 3 enemies. So you can run that if you're confident that you can get 3 people in a stun. So I would suggest running that if you're running something like The Walking Dead, which is DK Windwalker. DK start getting some massive buffs as well. It's gonna be pretty crazy. I would highly suggest you check those out. Get ready for the DK meta, along with the Warlock meta. It's gonna be interesting PvP season for sure. But Halinka's back. Daddy Halinka's back. Hopefully he'll make some good changes. I heard rumors that he's reverting the GCD change. If he does, this will heavily affect Windwalkers in a positive way. It'll make them a lot stronger, for sure. It will heavily affect them and bring back a lot of their... Like, it won't bring back the old playstyle, but it will help benefit them. That way you can pop something like Storm with the Fire and Invoke in the same GCD, if that makes any sense, rather than Leg Sweeping, waiting a global cooldown, popping Invokes, and waiting a global cooldown, popping Storm with the Fire, waiting a global cooldown, maybe popping Chi Burst, waiting a global cooldown, then going about a rotation. Rather than you could just pop all those things. Oh yeah, Touch of Death, another global cooldown. You could do all that stuff and then, you know, go about bursting. And again, there is a PvP talent, and it's like the old Touch of Death from back in WoD and MOP, to where it will kill players below 10% health, or as soon as they get to 10% health. I think it's going to be pretty good, especially since you can instantly kill things through stuff like Dispersion. I've killed warriors that have intervened Touch of Death from full health to 0. I have killed Shadow Priests that have popped Dispersion with Life Cocoon on top of that. It just goes right through it. But yeah, monks are looking... They're going in the right direction for 8.1. They're not completely fixing them for me, but in terms of playstyle and how they stand in PvP, they're starting to move in the right direction. If you guys are curious about the other talents that were added in 8.1, I do have a video covering all those talents, including what I think they can do to better improve the class. Link for that video is going to be in the description below if you are curious, and maybe you have an idea that I didn't think of in that video that you would like to share with others or with me, because I would love to hear your opinions. Linking that in the description below. Highly suggest you check it out. If you want to tune into stream, I try to stream every day at twitch.tv/Xuen. Again, the next guides that are going to be coming out are going to be a Survival Hunter macro guide, followed with a Windwalker macro guide. Those are going to be pretty important. Although, keep in mind, remember the pet attack macros, guys. Remember that. Just macro these in with stuff like Tiger Palm, Fist of the White Tiger, like your regular abilities. It's just I mean, if you saw me doing that example, you could kind of tell how important it is. But it's super important. Doesn't matter if you don't play a monk, if you play any class that has a pet, you need those macros. And in that hunter guide, I will be pretty much talking. Got something in my eye. I will pretty much be talking like 50% of that video. I will be talking about pet attack macros, micromanaging, pet follow macros, cancel arm macros, stuff like that. That's pretty important that you can implement into your class, even if you don't play hunter. But after that, I'll kind of leave it up to you guys, what you guys want to see in terms of guides. But that's pretty much what I have planned for the next week or so. Other than that, hope to see you guys on stream or on the next video, and have a good day. Peace.